Hey friends, Fishstick here. I decided to put together a little video just with the how-tos, the stuff that new people should really know. I really wish I knew these things when I first started. First things first, I'm going to start with syringes to revive your fallen friends. What you want to do is you want to make sure that your gun, your weapon, is attached to your body by hitting the grip button on your controller, and then to actually get it, you look down and you grab it with the trigger. That'll pull it out. Then to revive your friend, you press down on the D-pad and at the same time pull the trigger so that they're both pressed down, and that should press the syringe into them. Sometimes I have to do it a couple of times. I keep the D-pad held down and I'll pull the trigger just over and over and poke them in the butt and stuff. But that's how you do that. Put it back, trigger, tink. Also with syringes, you cannot use them to bring back somebody that has had a fatal wound. Example is there's a guy on my team shot himself in the head to see if we could bring him back. We couldn't. He was dead. So usually if they're still alive, you can hear them talk. One of my guys gets hit and I see him on the ground. I might call out to him and say, hey, are you still alive? If I don't hear anything, I don't bother with him. Also, there is a laptop you can pull out to see where your friends are and to track the objective position in maps. Now to get it, you take your dominant hand, reach behind your back to like the small of your back, where your spine is at your butt, and you'll feel a little vibration going over there. And when you're at the spine of your back, you hit the menu button on the D-pad, pops out your GPS deal. This is you. The white circle is the objective, which on maps, if you end up hanging out there for, I think it's 10 minutes or something, you end up winning the game. So usually everybody's dead by then, but and also on your map, you'll see little green dots. Those are your friends. I use this a lot if I get separated from my group to tell if my teammates are still alive, if I hear a bunch of shooting. And I'm like, oh my god, nobody's talking to me. Pull this out. If there's no green dots on there, you're by yourself. Now, if there's red dots on there, that means that's a teammate on the ground that's wounded. And you can use this to navigate to them, to get your syringe, and pick them up. And to return it, do the same thing. Small of your back, button, done. Another thing is you're equipped with a radio you can use to talk to your teammates across the battlefield. How to use your radio: take your left hand, hold it up to your ear, pull the trigger, and keep the trigger pressed down while you're talking. So dirt, and when you're done talking, let go of the trigger, it'll make a noise. That ends the transmission. Running. So you're able to walk and run in this game. To walk, you just use D-pad and move it around. Keep your thumb on there, whatever direction you want to go. To run, you'll double tap forward on the D-pad. Your guy will take off running. Walk, run. Makes a huge difference. You can also crouch. All you got to do is just literally crouch, move forward. And you can also go prone. By laying on the ground, you have to be careful though, because you'll lose tracking sometimes. I use this when I use my machine guns. You can actually aim from the prone position, which is pretty cool. You can also crawl like this also. I sneak around like this quite a bit. However, one downside of the prone position, there are a lot of things I find very difficult to do. One is reload. Two is access stuff in my inventory. It's really difficult for me to grab a grenade. I usually have to stand up, so just to let you know ahead of time. Another thing is team identification. Friendly fire can happen in this game, and it pisses people off. So the easiest way I can tell the difference is, if you don't know, look at your gloves. If your gloves are like this, your guys are in camo. So if your gloves are black, then, you know, you're the guys in the black outfits. But so if you ever look across the field or something, you see somebody sneaking around, that's entirely black. You're not sure if you're on his team or not. Look at your hands. If they're this color, shoot them. If they're black, they're your friend. Ladders. There'll still be a lot of ladders you see in the game. You can't get up them no matter how much you try. Just as a heads up, I'm sure they'll be implementing that later in the game, but right now they are not functional. Another thing you have to remember is your enemy can't hear you. When you are talking, your enemy can hear your voice. When you're using the radio, Your enemy can't hear the radio itself being transmitted if they're super far away, but if they're nearby, they'll hear you talking into your radio. Alrighty, night vision goggles. Night vision goggles are things you use to see at night, and you have to equip them in the loadout screen before you enter the game. To turn them on, you just stick your hand on top of your head and pull the trigger. Same thing to turn them off. Grenades. Grenades are fun. They can be your best friend or your worst enemy. I've blown myself up several times with them because I'm still getting used to how to throw them. They're kind of tricky to get the hang of, but still fun. First of all, you can't have anything in your hands, so attach your gun to yourself. Use your dominant hand to come up here, pull the trigger, pulls that out. Use your left hand trigger to pull the pin, and also make sure you have your Vive straps on, because you don't want your Vive controller ended up in the wall or out the window. Also, I forgot to mention, keep the trigger pulled down after you take it off your chest, and you keep that held down until you're ready to let go of it. So now there's a perfect example of how horrible I am at this. Start medic in a training ground. So that was a great example of what not to do. Let's try this again. Keep this held down. That one's way better. I think I let it go up higher. Let it go about like here. All grenades are thrown the same way. You pull the pin out. Yeah, it looks like the higher I arc it and let go like here, the further it goes. So that's nifty to learn. Shooting and reloading. Guns in this game, they don't all reload the same way. They vary from gun to gun. This is just your M16 here. Once you run out of ammo, to reload, you press down on the D-pad, tink, and it'll fall out. Not all guns will have the clips fall out. Sometimes you have to pull them out with your hand. Just left hand, trigger, throw it. Then you grab your clip, pop it in, and pull the bolt back. All guns, so some guns have different bolts. Some have on the side of the barrel, some of them on the side right here. This one right here, just pull right there. And you do that by squeezing the trigger in your left hand. Click, 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 click. All day long. Some guns in the game have different firing modes. This one in particular has a 3-shot burst and single shot. To get that to work, you press the left side of the D-pad, you'll hear a click. I'll change it. This is single right now. Hit it again. 3-shot burst. To make that 3-shot burst happen, you actually have to hold the trigger down the whole time. FYI. You can single fire. There's also accessories that'll be on these things. This has a flashlight right now. Sometimes you can have laser pointers, cool stuff like that. To get this to work, you put your hand on the grip of the gun and then pull the left trigger on your left hand. Make everything easy cheesy. Pistols are nifty backup weapons. Reach to your hip and you press the grip button on the side of your controller. When it's out, press down on the D-pad, cartridge falls out. Your cartridge is here, same as any other ammo thing. Pull the trigger, slide it in, and then you use your left hand, pull the trigger on the left hand, and bam. Alrighty, your machine guns. They're actually one of my favorite weapons in a game. It's just fun to lay down some fire. One thing I didn't know about these things when I first started playing is they don't come already loaded when you start the game. To do that, once your guy spawns, use your left trigger to open this up, left trigger to pull the ammo out of the little thing, drop it, left trigger, and left trigger, pull back on the bolts, and you're good to go. These things, however, do not have alternate fire modes. To change the cartridge out, it's the same as any other weapon. Down on the D-pad, grab this thing, toss it, pull it out of your hip, pop it back in, and then rinse and repeat. Tink, tink, tink. One last thing, if you're ever in the position where you want to switch to the other team, and you're in this menu, all you got to do is hit this back button up here, click, and then grab the helmet you want. Don't want to be on this one, back, grab this helmet. And this is the loadout screen where you'd equip like your night vision right there. Just pull the trigger, syringes, smoke grenades, stuff like that. Ammo types, armor piercing. They hit a lot harder, but you have a limited amount of mags. I think you only get like 2 or 3 or something. As opposed to Full Metal Jacket, you get a lot more ammo to carry around with you. They'll do less damage than the armor piercing. And then Full Metal Jacket, tracers, self-explanatory, they have tracer with them. So hopefully that helps somebody out there. I know how tricky it is to be a noob, especially in this game. It was a little bit frustrating, but this game is super fun. So if you're thinking about getting it, I highly recommend it. It is a blast. I don't think I've ever played a game as fun as this for VR or for my just regular gaming in general. But yeah, so thanks for watching. If I left anything out or was incorrect about anything, please feel free to leave a comment about it. Other than that, also feel free to like, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, checking out my derpy channel, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Have a good day, friends. Bye.